Hello, friends of Sudoku, and welcome once again to my channel. We are once again looking at the New York Times Hard Sudoku puzzle, and that is today's version, today being the 7th of May 2024. I see a couple of fives blocking these squares here, and this 5 blocks these, so it's clear that a 5 must go here. Anything else of interest? Not really seeing much here, at least not quickly. Well, a 6 and a 9 obviously block here, and a 6 and a 9 also obviously block here. So these two squares have got to be a 6 and a 9 in some order. That puts an 8 over here. And that is about all I think I can say. But a 6 and a 9 here, okay, that's good to know. A 5 must go here or here. We also have a 3 and a 5 blocking here, and we have a 3 and a 5 blocking here. So these two squares have got to be a 3 and a 5. And since this 8 blocks these squares and this 8 blocks this square, we can enter an 8 here with a good deal of confidence. And now we have an 8 and a 5 blocking here, and we have a 5 blocking here. So these two squares have got to be an 8 and a 5. Therefore, a 3, 6, and a 9 for these squares. The 9 blocks here and the 9 blocks here, so this must be a 9. The 3 blocks here, so this must be a 6, and this must be a 3. That was a bit quick. I hope I didn't make any mistake here. It would be such a pity having to start over. 2, 4, 7 here. Not much I can do about that at the moment. Oh, yes, there is, of course. The 7 blocks down. So here's a 7. I just need to talk foolishly to myself and I find a new number, don't I? A 2 and a 4 here, though. Therefore, we're going to have a 2 here or here, and a 4 here or here. The 6 blocks across here, so here's a 6. And these two must be a 9 and a 2 now. And since we know that one of these is a 2, this can't possibly be a 2, ergo it must be a 9, and this is a 2. Still a 2 and a 4 here, and therefore a 3 and a 6 here. The 6 blocks over, so here's a 3 and here is a 6. And here are 1, 9 and one more, a 4. 9, 9. 9 here, here, that is no big help. Nor is the 1. So I'll need to work a little harder on those, I think. 1. See, we got the 1 blocking here and the 1 blocking here. So we have a 1 in one of these squares. That doesn't really do much for me. We do have a 2 and a 6 here and a 2 and a 6 here. So 2 and 6 go in 2 of these 3 squares. That might come in handy a little later. 5 and 8 still. 5 also blocks over here. 8 blocks down here. So 8 must go here or here. 7 and 9 go over here somewhere because these are, I think we said, a 3 and a 5. We got 7 and 9 blocking here, so 7 and 9 go over here. Now the 2 and a 4. We know that this is a 2, 4 square. 4 can't go here. 2 can't. That is too complicated. But finding a nice number for these 4 squares is not complicated because we need to find 4, 7, 8, and a 9. We have a 4, 8, and a 9 blocking here, so this has got to be a 7. Now we have a 1 and a 4 blocking here. We have a 1 and a 4 blocking here. So these two squares have got to be a 1 and a 4, don't they? And therefore these must be a 2, 3, and a 5. Unfortunately, I don't think that is helping me right this instance, but probably worth keeping it in mind if I can. So in the meantime, let's have a look at these 6s blocking and these 6s blocking, giving me a 6 here. Low-hanging fruit. I can't say this often enough. When we see it, we pick it. So now we know that this is a 2, 4. We also need a 1 and an 8 for the bottom row, and they, of course, must go in 2 of these squares here. And that puts a 1 in one of these 2 squares, doesn't it? I dearly wish I could find another 5 for the 9th column. Oh well. So 7 and 8 over here. We know about the 8, of course, blocking. So 8 here or here. But now we have this 7 blocking over and the 7 blocking up. These are 6 and 9. Therefore, we have a 7 here or here blocking across. So 7 and 8 up here. I think I want to zoom in on row 3. We know that, remember how this is a 1, 4, and we also have a 1, 4 here because these are 2, 5, and 3, remember? So bearing in mind that this is a 1, 4 candidate square, I want to look at this because we have a 6, 9, and an 8 also blocking over here. One of these is an 8. Remember, we also have a 6 and a 9 blocking. So I'm thinking, what is this square going to be? It could be a 1, but it could not be a 2, 3. It could be a 4, but it couldn't be a 5, 6. It couldn't be a 7 because a 7 must go up here. And it couldn't be an 8 because an 8 must go up here. And it couldn't be a 9. So we do have a 1 and a 4 pair across here. I admit that it's not easy to spot. But the way that I spot these things is that I use part intuition and part, I look at the 9, 6, and the 8, and I know that they all block here. We got a 9, 6, and an 8 blocking here. And then I remember that the 7 that blocks here also blocks here, because one of these must be a 7. So we got 1, 4 here and 1, 4 here. Now we only need 3 more numbers to complete the row, and they must be a 2, 5, and a 7. And we have a 5 blocking here. We still know that one of these is a 7, ergo this has got to be a 2. These 2's block down. This 2 blocks across. Now we have a 2 here and a 4 here. And in addition to the 1 that must go in one of these squares, we now also need a 4 for one of these 2 squares. And therefore a 7 and a 2 for these 2 squares. 1, 8, and 4 here, which I can't solve yet. But let's go back, and now we have a 2, 6, 9 here. We have a 2, 6, 9 here. So these squares must be a 2, 6, and a 9. We got a 6 and a 9 blocking up, so here's a 2. and 6 and 9 here, therefore a 3, 7, 8 here. 3 and 8 block up, so this is a 7, and these are 3 and 8. And these therefore are 1 and a 4. Here we're looking for a 4 and a 1. The 4 blocks over, the 1 must go here and the 4 must go here. Now we have a 4 here as well. This 1 blocks over, this 1 blocks up, we have a 1 here, and I think it was a 9 here, was it? Yes, a 9, because these are still a 5, 8. We have a 7 blocking here and a 7 blocking here, so this must be a 7. Now we have a 7 here, and I think at one point we said that one of these had to be a 9, didn't we? And yes, it's true, because this 9 blocks over. So here's a 9. And now we're going to have a 9 either here or here. Here a 9 and an 8. 3 here or here, blocking across, 3 blocking across, here, 3 here or here. More 3s. We can have a 3 here and here. And also here. So let's forget that I even thought about 3s at this stage. Oh, I'm just now spotting that we need a 1, 3, 4, 8 for these squares, don't we? We have got a 1 and a 4 here. This is a 3, 8. We have a 3, 8 up here. We have a 3, 8 up here. So this cannot be a 3 and it cannot be an 8 because of the unique rectangle issue. Let me go over that quickly because there's always someone asking what I mean. What I mean is that if this is a 3, 8 and this is a 3, 8 and this is a 3, 8 and this is a 3, 8, the following thing can happen or will happen. It doesn't matter at all whether this is a 3 or whether it's an 8, because all it means that we are just changing 3s and 8 along this rectangle. And it's now clear, I think, for everyone to see that that means that this puzzle has a non-unique solution. And a good Sudoku puzzle should have a unique solution. So since we know that these are givens, 3 and 8, we know that this can't be a 3 and an 8. There are only 3 digits missing in this box number 4. So if it's not a 3 or an 8, so we know that this square has got to be a 9. Now we have a 9 here, and therefore here, and a 6 here. 6 blocks down and up. 6 goes over here, so here's a 6. Now a 3 and an 8 for these squares. 3 blocks here, here's an 8, here's a 3 and a 3 and an 8. 1 and 4 here. 1 and 4 here. See, this is not a unique rectangle because these 4 empty squares do not form a rectangle. So let's see if we can get on with the 1, 4s. We know that these are 1, 4, so therefore these must be a 3 and a 5. The 3 blocks over giving me this 5 and this 3. 5 now gives me an 8 here and a 5 here. 8 blocks over, this is a clear 8. We know that these are a 1, 4 and an 8. The 2 8s now block down, so here's an 8. The 1 blocks down, so here's a 4 and here's a 1. 4 and 4 block these squares, therefore this is a 4. Now we have a 4 here and a 1 here and a 1 here and a 4 here. 5 and 7 here. 1 and 3 here. 1 blocks up, 3 goes here, 1 here. 3 blocks down and across, 3 here. Here's a 5, we discussed that before. Now we have a 5 here and we have a 7 here and here. This must be a 2 and this must also be a 2. And that's it for today's New York Times Hard Sudoku puzzle. Thank you for watching and bye for now.